in the upper right-hand side of the map here in the red. She is the Queen of Blades from the Shopify Rebellion. From the Unity Team House, it's Scarlett. Our opponent in the bottom left in the blue, taking Solar out with the trash for PSISTORM. The Terran, Gumiho. So where do we go? Well, Gumiho seems to want nothing of this. He says, hey, Scarlett, welcome to Korea. Here's the 2 racks. Okay. Fine. That's valid. But it's 2 racks Reaper. Oh, interesting. I didn't even look at the gas count. I'm sorry. But 12 Cat Mando saying, you explain that again, you want your viewed account. If you came from a raid, just click on my name below the stream. That'll remove the referral equals raid tag from the URL. And that will remove the referral equals raid tag from the URL. And that of course means that, well, suddenly Twitch counts your view in terms of partnership applications. If you're watching on TL.net, just go to twitch.tv/StarCraft. Yeah. That's it. Thank you, Pathogen7. But now Reapers into the main base here. We're going to have to see how much value they are able to get. 1 worker falls. 2nd worker, Scarlett running, hiding desperately, and she's able to keep it alive for now. But a 2nd worker arrives, and there's only so long you can just kind of spore cancel. So we're going to have to see how well Scarlett's going to be able to zone out. Notice she's not really... okay, there's speed on the way now, but Lings are starting to fall here, and this is scary. Third Reaper arrives. But the Queen's out now, and at least for the moment, this is gonna push Gumiho off creep. Ooh, that Reaper getting very low, but Queen, he's a slow boy. Okay, Reaper into the natural, and of course it's 6 Reapers that one-shot workers, so that's the mark that Scarlett's really got to be afraid of. Oh, wait a minute, great grenades here. That is a high-energy Queen, and Gumiho's just going to chase it down. 1 Queen dead, Scarlett, and a world's of trouble here in this. Oh, she's going to lose the 2nd one. It's off creep. No way to go, and yeah, sure, 1 Reaper dies, but you gladly trade 1 Reaper for 2 Queens, because and that's the defensive point. So Scarlett, she feels she has to flood Lings at this point, and the Reaper's behind. Another Reaper falls. And Scarlett's got a good zoning action here, but okay, Reapers will actually escape. And now Scarlett, she has enough Lings, so she should be able to chase this down for the most part. Speed's going to be done in about 30 seconds. Oh, 10 seconds, excuse me. But this is massive damage. Scarlett has a ton of Lings that she really did not want. That was a panic Ling flood, if I've ever seen one. Because she is not going to be able to run across the map and get... She may prevent the natural from... mining for a time, but 2 Queens, 2 drones. I mean, there's 2 drones that might not look like a lot. 6 Lings, maybe not look like a lot, but look at the worker count right now. It's 28 to 27, 4.5 minutes or 4 minutes and 20 seconds in. Scarlett has made over 20 Lings. That is so expensive now. Her 3rd base is not on the way. And she found herself supply block because she lost an Overlord. How did she lose no? What? Oh, okay. She canceled. She canceled something to get a unit out. In fact, Scarlett, she's just gonna go for roach timing. Okay, yeah, I like this. You can't go and you can't go into the mid game like this. You will just die. So Scarlett scouts out, says, okay, this looks. Well, I see. Does she see the 3rd base? That's actually a really big question. No, she did not. She just saw the barracks, and she just saw the factory and the starport, and then command center going down. But honestly, going this roach timing, I really don't hate it against what Gumiho is doing, and Scarlett has to do this again. Going into the mid game as behind as she is, never going to work. So Roachborn is down. 3rd base is on the way. She's building more drones, but she's not building roaches. Interesting. I very much expected to see a bunch of flood of roaches. There's just as a comeback potential, but I don't know that Scarlett didn't know that there was a 3rd base. So seeing that starport, maybe that's going to be just a little bit too scary. And as there's a lair on the way, it looks like we're not actually going to see this. I mean, there's some roaches out now, but I feel like these are defensive roaches. Well, she's getting 4 of them. We're going to have to keep an eye on things. She may have just looked to move up to like the 42, 45 drone roach timing, but no, more drones are on the way. So, not exactly sure what Scarlett is going for at this point. Gumiho is going bio. We saw him play a fantastic mech game against Solar. Did a wonderful job of just getting Hellions into bases and killing them off. But we have to consider the fact that Scarlett's third hatch is going to be done after the third command center of Gumiho. So, Scarlett's lair is going to be done soon, and we're going to see the Viking not die, actually. Good job there. Gumiho gets it out. So again, I'm left asking the question, where does Scarlett go from? How does she make a comeback happen? Because her third base is so slow. And I mean, you might look at counts and you say, well, it's 54 workers to 42. Army supplies are equal. How is she behind? Well, many reasons, not the least of which is that third base just completed. So roach speed is on the way, but we don't have double Evo. Spire behind this, I kind of had an inkling Spire might be an idea because it is against 3cc play. But because of how everything has gone, 1-1 is going to be roughly finishing up around the time the Spire completes. Scarlett does not have a Baneling nest. She's just got some defensive roaches and getting roach speed. There's no way there is, in the back of my head, I'm thinking of like a Railgun Muta Roach all in. There's no way that's what this is. Okay. But we're going to have Marines and a tank actually in the high ground. Ling's already getting into position here. So Gumiho on the hot pickup says, okay, well, got to make sure that happens. But Scarlett lets it down anyways as Ling's roaches are going to show up here. Tank actually not even, I don't think Gumiho sieges this. Yeah, he's just looking for as much damage as possible. He was trying to find room for Hellions to dive in the third. But that's not exactly what you're looking for there. But okay, double Evo now on the way. Scarlett does have her fourth base on the way as well. Her career spread is actually really nice. So that is something at least she has in her favor in this game. As Hellions are going to look for some value, but they're just going to see that this is a late fourth base. Where do we go from here? 9 mutas are on the way. Really timing up perfectly with that 1-1 of Gumiho, but Gumiho, he does have his 5 racks. So his production is fully underway. We're not really seeing a massive Marine count just yet because he is setting himself up on the 3 bases. His 4th and 5th racks have not been done for all that long. For Hellions, they're going to try to dive in. I think, they got a creep tumor. But okay, now there's a Baneling nest on the way. Now there's 1-1 for Scarlett. Her 1-1 is going to be done before the 2-2 of Gumiho, so she will have equal upgrade timing as Gumiho starts to push. And now Scarlett's just going to have to play the dance of death. She's going to have to really showcase that superior muta control that she's shown us in the past and just pin Gumiho back on his side of the map for forever. Now getting a tank is going to be a nice start here. Bio trying to get on top. I believe 1 muta has died, make that 2. 4 mutas have gone down. This is just, that's 400. That is, in a normal game, maybe okay. Maybe. If you're going to rush mutas, you do want to find value in the first couple, but in this game, it does feel spooky. Now, we do have to point out, Scarlett's creep spread is on the middle of the map. Given the game state, it is incredible creep spread. Her 4th base is up. She's on 90 drones. And now she's starting to get to the point where maybe she's thinking about being okay. But look at Gumiho. Is he like playing by? He's going 3 factory. Is he almost playing like biomech? I mean, he's pure bio right now, but adding those 2 factories, it's going to be a lot of tanks, maybe a lot of Thors, maybe a lot of Widowmines, not really sure, but a lot of potential for mech units to come out. But we are starting to see the push of Gumiho with 1-1 at about 150 supply. Baneling speed is not yet done. In fact, 11 Banelings, the first ones on the map, are on the way. So Scarlett is going to have to give up a lot of this creep spread. But it's good for her that she's been able to build this creep spread because it's going to take Gumiho a while to really start pushing into her core 4 or 5 bases. As Muta's on the other side looking for something. Tanks are not yet sieged, so Banelings are going to try to roll in here, but good splits from Gumiho off creep, but still he's going to have to run away. Biles actually get on top of some of these medevacs, and that may become a factor later on, but 1-1 is done. That's the timing Scarlett was looking for. Baneling speed not quite done in time. That's unfortunate, but she's able to push Gumiho back off creep. Looks like Muta's found at least something on the other side, and I find it interesting. Scarlett's on 5 mutas. She has +1 air on the way, but she's not really committing to muta tech much heavier. Now Scarlett taking the timing because Gumiho's been pushed off her creep a little bit, knocking the rocks down, giving herself more surround opportunities. Mutas fly in once again, but there's a missile turret, so 5 Mutas don't really do all that much, and it looks like Scarlett's actually going to lose most of them here. 5 Mutas don't do a lot. 2 Mutas, they do even less, but maybe denying one of these command centers. +2 armor on the way for Scarlett. She's forgotten her attack for now, and she can't afford it. On 92 workers, her economy is in a wonderful spot. Hive on the way as well, and she's actually, she's going for Corruptors pretty quickly. The weird thing is, I mean, this is triple factory from Gumiho, but we're only on 4 tanks. Not a lot has come out of these factories. This is a really interesting, just a really interesting game. Scarlett trying to jump on top of the drop of the north. Meanwhile, I think she got a tank here on the bottom side as well, but paid dearly for. Oh, she's paying dearly for it in Queens as well. And these Queens have a lot of energy. That's a lot of crew spread represented in that number as this drop finally being dealt with. Corruptors as well. And Scarlett, okay, so I said no +2 melee, but because apparently I can't read. +1 ranged on the way behind this one, but there's no Hydra Den. I'm watching these players play, and I'm just very confused, but in the best way possible. It's incredibly stylistic from Scarlett and from Gumiho. Gumiho went triple factory, and now he's building 3 tanks at a time, but he really wasn't using that for the most of it. Scarlett getting +1 ranged for this high, well, and now she's going to look to run in. Bailey's actually in a decent spot, but no, Scarlett pulls back because the Marauders run forward. And this is not really a fight that Scarlett wants to take in earnest, but Corruptors actually, as they dive in, well, here come the Baneleys as well, getting on top of the Biolys, trying to a lot of the Marauders fall, but the Baneleys do not make the back line. Biles not really going to get all that much. Scarlett forced to run back, but Corruptors with their Biles, or with their Corrosive Bile, they're able to knock down an orbital. That is rather nice, and there's +2 melee on the way. No Carapace just yet. Scarlett again maxed out. She's setting herself up for a big run by here. And Gumiho doesn't feel like he can really run on the map right now. Ling's Banes, they're going to show up at the bunker. That gets busted on down. Corruptor's trying to kill things, but not really going to be able to do so. Marauders tagging some Baneleys to slow them down as they go try to escape. That's a lot of Banes falling, but Gumiho does not want to leave his core 4. He has a lot of command centers. He's sitting on, what, 1 planetary, 4 orbitals, and an extra command center just about done. So from that perspective, I mean, his economy is good, but only just now is he getting that 5th base, which, given the game state, really not the biggest of deals. But Scarlett, okay, adding infestors. She has a decent amount of ravagers, so that makes sense. 7 infestors is a lot. Pathogen glands will complete, so she will have fungals by the time that those infestors land. And there we go. 2nd Spire, Greater Spire. That explains the Corruptors from earlier. And this is just kind of just a roundabout way. I don't really understand getting +1 ranged, necessarily, when you're just going into Greater Spire. But anyway, Lings are going to find Lings Banes. They're going to find their way into this into the 3rd base location. Tanks actually get the Lings are just going to jump on top of that one. Corruptors trying to pee down this structure, the command center, and there's actually not going to be really much of a repair. So that's going to be a 2nd dead base. But on the other side, Gumiho's gone for a bit of a base trade. But oh, big fungals there. It's so much low bio. Scarlett has plenty more fungals where that came from. Another one going to go down. Scarlett looking for the juicy one, but the bio is sitting backwards. That being said, the tanks have sieged up. Scarlett has to run back home. She's down about 40 army supplies. She's going to have to give 2 bases up. And yeah, getting the orbital is fantastic. But losing 2 hatch right there, that feels really expensive. Even if she has a bank, it's a larva problem right now. She only has 4 larvae. And this split from Gumiho, I don't think he's really going to fall. And she's going to lose the 3rd hatch. So she's really struggling to max out here, not because her economy is bad, just because she does not have the larva to necessarily afford it. As fungals, actually a lot of infestors have just gone down. They're going to burrow up and run away. But okay, 6 Broodlords are now on the way, and Gumiho does not really have the army to deal with this just yet. He's got a Ghost Cloak on the way, sure, but I don't think he has that many ghosts. Scarlett, for her part, has 2 queens, so no ghosts, 2 queens. Not a lot of spellcasters on the field, but as Broodlords continue to join the fray, Scarlett actually very gas-starved in this game. Ling's on the counterattack, looking for well, unfortunately, Scarlett was not able to get both orbitals in the main base, but even still, forcing another lift, getting on top of all of these tanks. Look at all them tanks. At least some of them. Lings will not get cleaned up here, is dropping the main base, knocking down a lot of the tech of Scarlett. And she's going to get the hatch. And Scarlett, as larva starved as she is, that is probably the most valuable trade. But now Broodlords getting so much value here. The army of Gumiho now is on stim and run. Run away. Because this is just not an army that fights these Broodlords all that well. But we have to remember, Scarlett will struggle to find her way onto the other side of the map. That is very much the story. Gumiho mined out in the main base. Third base not really mining, it's lifted. Scarlett has taken the rich gas base. So if she's going to be able to stabilize, it's going to be okay. And then she will be able to take care of this drop north side. But the problem is the Doom drop into the main base here. This is, what is this? 6 medevacs, 7 medevacs full of stuff. On top of this one drop that is already here. Trying to get on top of the bathing nest, the roach war, and the spawning pool. Really everything that Scarlett could possibly win in this game. So she's going to have to rotate back on over. Her and army was entirely north. So this army that Scarlett has built, it is very much, it is a army that is immobile, it is powerful, but it is damn immobile. So that's the real big problem here. Is Milo is just going to whiff pretty much in totality, but the medevac will go down. Gumiho scanning all the bases on the north side says, okay, that's where your stuff is at this point. Remember, Gumiho, he's sitting here up 50 army supply. As Scarlett continues to struggle to spend her money, she just really doesn't have the larva for it. But this drop, I hope Gumiho hasn't forgotten about it. He's just biding his time. Okay, Scarlett, a little bit of her army north side. And there's one tank here. Actually, there are so many ghosts on the field now. We're looking at 16 ghosts all of a sudden. That last push, there were none. So snipes are going to start to really enact, well, pain and misery on the Zerg player. But Infestors, if they can get some good fungals, it can make a big difference here. Fungal number 1. It doesn't really land. Fungal number 2, though, that's on top of all of the ghosts here. So really no snipes, or at least only one. But it's not... There are so many freaking ghosts on the map right now, but here come the Broodlords. And Gumiho, he's not doing anything with that drop. Okay, there it is. We saw his point of view go down the bottom side, and there we go. The Doom drop in the main base. He's been biding his time for so damn long. But there's really not a lot here to get. So Lings have to rally back home. Broodlord's defending this base, and looks like it will be able to do so for the most part. Lings getting on top of everything here. Corruptor's knocking down the sky. But this is a bunch of 3-3 bio. And Lings are not really cleaning up with this, dealing with this all that well. Gumiho with a terrifying position. He's going to force Scarlett to give up multiple bases. This hive, in fact, may fall down without some Broodlord help. And Scarlett feels like she can't move to this position. Oh, and that's a nice bile. It feels like she can't really move to this position because of the threat of the army of Gumiho to crush her last remaining bases. And there we go. Scarlett, 2K, 3K, or 3K, 3K in the bank. She taps out. Gumiho takes game 1. In the bottom right here, folks, in the red, excuse me. She's down 1. It's Scarlett. In the upper left, in the blue, up 1 off a weird game, but it worked for him. The PSISTORM Terran, Gumiho. Felt like they were playing catch with that game, throwing it back and forth. Yeah, Gumiho and Scarlett both, they heard that the Nationals, which are my team if you follow professional baseball, they heard that our rotation is terrible. So they figured they would try out for it and show the Nationals just how hard they can throw. I mean, I don't think we can talk about Stormhost being viable because Render did well against Mario, because that's not the story. Dark beat Mario with that Stormhost style. So there's no 2 racks in this game. Gumiho is not gone for many, many Reapers and all those wonderful things. In fact, instead, he is just going for a normal game. But there's a reason behind the madness of Gumiho maybe going for something super aggressive in that first game and then maybe not doing it the rest of the series. And that is the fact that now Scarlett has to be worried about it. And now, Gumiho, not doing the polar opposite, but taking a very different approach. So, and actually this is an interesting thing because Gumiho opened with a Reaper, and normally 2-on-1s don't get a Reaper. Normally it's just straight into the 2-on-1. So we're gonna have to see what happens with this one. Does Scarlett have the proper read? Now 2-on-1 actually is fairly good for the Zerg if they're able to figure out what it is, because you can drone a lot earlier. You can drone a lot earlier than you normally would. Or a lot later. I guess you can drone a lot harder until you need to get your 28, 31 lings out and get your queens in the proper position. So Scarlett for now seems to be aware of this. We're not, well, actually, you're not going to see the ling swell until speed is done for the most part, and Scarlett has gone for already the delayed clash opening. So her speed will be at 4 minutes, which is, again, fantastic. It means you have more drones early. It means you can go and, again, get a little bit greedier before you do have to pump those lings to defend the push. And the Gumiho, he ran out on the map. I guess he was looking for the Overlord, and Overlord is able to find that perf pillar. Does Gumiho still play mech? He did. In fact, he bopped Solar with it. Game 2 of their quarterfinals match. And yes, SS Gek 41. I have been told I do have a deep voice. In fact, that in, a roundabout way is why I got into casting in the first place. Where I was back in high school, I went to a small little private school. I think my graduating class was 48 people. Part of it was I lived in the middle of nowhere. And as often happens in small classes like that, there's like 1 or 2 people that can do public speaking or enjoy it. So I did a lot of that stuff. And then by senior year, the headmaster came up to me and he said, hey, Philip, you really got a voice for radio. I enjoy listening to you. And he may have just been saying something about my face because high school Bayo is not... I'm not trying to say I'm attractive or unattractive now, but high school Bayo is not attractive. High school Bayo is a giraffe. But I choose to believe he was saying nice things about me. So I realized, I'm really good at the StarCraft thing. I'm not a pro, but hitting Masters is top 2 to 4%, depending on when you get it. The Bio's going to find this 4th base, and Scarlett is just not in position to defend this, so she's going to force a cancel. And already, this is a nice move there from Gumiho, finding a little bit of value early on. And now Scarlett, she's going to take the far less efficient 4th base. She's going to go behind and just get less minerals, less gas. And this is a target that Gumiho's going to cancel too. Scarlett is, again, not in position to deal with this one. And that's just a problem. So Gumiho stems in this base. He's not even going to cancel it. He says, I don't really care. I want to find a little bit more value here. And he's going to find it anyways. 3 workers will go down. Oh, this is such a nice position here for Gumiho. The Lings can't really get anything. No, at least no service area. So the Bio retreats up and they say, oh, well, let's just get a base. That's fine. We got 5 workers. We're going to delay a 4th base once again. And this, wow, I didn't really think about it, but 2-on-1 is so strong on this map because you can bounce between 2 prospective 4th base locations and really easily kill them both. Do I know if anyone cast Mio Micah Classic? I believe maybe Dave tested it. As again, oh, Gumiho. I think he gets this 4th base for a 3rd time, but he says no, he wants some links first, and he's still going to get it. Oh, no, that's a kill too. Scarlett is really struggling with this early game aggression. Game 1, it was Reapers, and she just was not really able to sustain. Game 2, she has had her 3rd base denied, or 4th base denied many, many times now. And now Scarlett is spreading cube backwards, not just forwards. But the scan gets dropped, and that grave spread is actually just going to get canceled here. So Queen's on the low ground, and Scarlett finally getting her Queens somewhat into position, but Gumiho is really abusing this position. Which is interesting, because when I talked about this map feeling pretty good for Terran, I have very much been talking about, okay, well, the 3rd base, it's more efficient for a Terran than it is for any other race. I didn't even think about how good a 2-on-1 would be here, but it is just killing Scarlett 100%. The Lings are all going down. Scarlett, yeah, she's dead. Gumiho 2-0. In the upper right, in the red, she's down 2. Can she pluck the pockets of the Koreans to take a Korean Cup? She is Scarlett. And the bottom left in the blue, not dropping a map against Zergs thus far in this cup. 2-0 Solar, now 2-0 Scarlett. He is Gumiho. All right, so now you thought 2 racks was good. Let's go 3 racks. No gas here. You don't build 3 racks, Reaper. This is a Gumiho really trying trying to speed run this series. And in fairness, Scarlett made a game of it in game number 1. She clawed her way back, and in a similar fashion as Scarlett has shown weak early game. And in fairness, we have to remember, Scarlett currently has COVID. She has flown in the last 2 weeks from West Coast, I believe she's in the West Coast of Canada, to Valencia, to Seoul. So the fact that she's here in the finals is already pretty nice. She made that comeback versus Classic was nice. And yes, Hero and the usual suspects, Hero and Beyond, are not here, but even still, making the final is fantastic. And we do, of course, have to point out that Scarlett is suffering from probably jet lag and COVID. Doesn't really help. But STV is going to show up on the high ground, and Spine gets dropped. Scarlett does know that this is a 3 racks play. You do need that Spine against 3 racks. Against 2 racks, it just doesn't work. But I'm assuming she's getting that from the SCVs. But now we're going to have the drones going to get pulled. And look at the position the Marines are going to find their way in. But drones, they say, we don't really care about the Marines just yet. We want to kill these SCVs off. And certainly seeing 3 SCVs is a wonderful tell that says, yes, this is 3 racks, not 2. One worker has died for the moment here as Gumiho gently microing his way on backwards. Lings are going to prevent the bug. No, the bunker completes, but nothing to really find his way into it. That being said, even still, one SCV is still alive here as microing backwards and forwards, frontwards and backwards. Scarlett is dead. Your king, Gumiho, he remains.